Hi, in this video we are going to discuss about third chapter of geography, that is minerals and power resources. In this chapter we will cover classification and distribution of minerals, their conservation and utilization, and then we will cover power resources, whether these are conventional or non-conventional, and their advantages and disadvantages. Let's discuss about minerals. We need to know the difference between minerals and rocks. First of all, minerals found in the rocks and rocks are found in crust of the earth. Mineral has specific chemical composition, whereas rocks consist of different kinds of minerals. So that's why we need to extract them from the rocks or crust. As we know, lithosphere, that is upper portion of the mantle and crust, consists of limited elements. If you will look at periodic table, you will find out 118 to 120 elements. When these elements combine in different way, they form varieties of minerals. Now the question is, what is the source of minerals? The source of minerals is magma, which lie inside the earth. When this magma comes out over the earth's surface through cracks and volcanic eruption, after cooling it solidified and resulted in the formation of various rocks and minerals. Here we have simple definition of minerals. A naturally occurring substance that has a definite chemical composition is called mineral. Minerals are not evenly distributed over Earth's surface. There are somewhere plain, plateau, mountain, etc. They are concentrated in particular areas or rock formation. For example, in peninsula part of India, most of the metallic minerals of India lie there in southern part of India. Sometimes minerals are found in areas which are not easily accessible, such as Arctic Ocean and Antarctica in northern hemisphere and in southern hemisphere. Minerals are formed in different types of geological environment under varying conditions such as intensive heat and pressure. They are created by the natural process without any human interference. So minerals can be identified on the basis of their physical properties such as the color, density, hardness, transparency, etc., and chemical properties such as solubility. Next is types of mineral. So minerals are classified mainly as a metallic and non-metallic. So there are over 3000 minerals that we know over the earth's surface. Only on the basis of composition, minerals are classified as metallic and non-metallic. Metallic mineral further classified as ferrous and non-ferrous. So ferrous mineral contain iron, Fe stand for iron, and non-ferrous do not contain iron. Metallic minerals contains metals in the raw form. Metals are hard substance that conducts heat and electricity and have a characteristics luster or shine and transparency, etc. Iron ore, bauxite, manganese ore are some examples of metallic minerals. Then we have ferrous minerals. So minerals like iron ore, manganese, chromides contain iron. On the other hand, non-ferrous minerals does not contain iron but may contain some other metals such as gold, silver, copper and copper or lead. Then we have non-metallic minerals. So these minerals do not contain metals. Limestone, mica, gypsum are some example of such minerals. The minerals fuels like coal and petroleum are also non-metallic minerals. So these are found in sedimentary strata. Minerals can be extracted by mining, drilling or quarrying. So mining further classified as open cast mining and shaft mining. So mining is the process of taking out minerals from the rock buried under the earth's surface. First, open cast mining. The open cast mining carried out when the minerals that lie at the shallow depth and minerals taken out by removing the surface layers through dynamites or by blasting. So this process is called open cast mining. Next we have shaft mining. When the minerals lie deep inside the earth and shaft or deep bores have to be made to reach the mineral deposit that lie at the greater depth. So this process is shaft mining. So this is shaft, you can say, a passageway used for the access to an underground mine. Next we have drilling. Petroleum and natural gas occurred far below the earth's surface, so deep wells are bored to make them out, and this is called drilling. Here minerals that lie near the surface are simply dug out by the process is known as quarrying. So as you can see this, the layers of the minerals or the earth surface are removed to take out the minerals, so this is called quarrying. Next we have distribution of minerals. So minerals occur in the different types of rocks. Some are in igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. So generally metallic minerals are found in the igneous and metamorphic rocks. So the rock formation that is igneous and metamorphic form the large plateau. Iron ore in the North Sweden, copper and nickel deposit in the Ontario in Canada. Iron, nickel, chromite and platinum in the South Africa are the examples of minerals that found in the igneous and metamorphic rocks. On the other hand, sedimentary rocks formation of the plains and young fault mountains contain the non-metallic minerals like limestone. Limestone deposit of Caucasus region of France, manganese deposit of the Georgia and Ukraine, and phosphate beds of the Algeria are some examples of this kind of minerals that lie in the sedimentary rocks. Mineral fuels such as coal, petroleums are also found in the sedimentary strata or rocks. So continent wise we will discuss distribution of various minerals in the coming slides. First we have Asia. So here we have Asia. China and India have a large iron ore deposits. The continents produce more than half of the world's tin. China, Malaysia and Indonesia are among the world's leading tin producers. So China also leads in the production of lead, antimony and tungsten. Asia also has a deposit of manganese, bauxite and nickel, zinc and copper. So it is important to know or locate you in your atlas these countries, so which will help you to understand the location of various continents and countries in the world map. So see your atlas. Next we have Europe. Here we have Europe. Europe is the leading producer of the iron ore in the world. The countries with large deposit of iron ore are Russia, Ukraine, Sweden and France. So mineral deposit of the copper, lead, zinc, manganese and nickels are found in the Eastern Europe and the European Russia. So here we have European Russia west of the Ural mountain range. Next we have North America. So this is North America. The mineral deposit in the North America are located in the three zones. The Canadian region north of the Great Lakes. So here Canadian region, the Appalachian region and the mountain ranges on the west. So here in the east we have Appalachian region and west of it we have mountain ranges. Iron ore, nickel, gold, uranium and copper are mined in the Canadian Shield region. Coal in the Appalachian region. Western Cordilleras have vast deposit of the copper, lead, zinc, gold and silver. So these are the various regions in the North America having have such kind of minerals. Next we have South Africa. South America. So this is South America. Brazil is the largest producer of the high grade iron ore in the world. Chile and Peru are leading producer of the copper. Brazil and Bolivia are among the world's largest producer in tin. South America has also large deposits of the gold, silver, zinc, chromium, manganese, bauxite, mica, platinum, asbestos and diamonds. Minerals oil is found in the Venezuela, Argentina, Chile, Peru and Colombia. Another we have Africa. So Africa continent is here. Here various countries located. More than 53 countries are there. So Africa is rich in the mineral resources. So it is the world's largest producer of the diamond and gold platinum. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zaire produce a large portion of world's gold. Other minerals found in the Africa are copper, iron ore, chromium, uranium, cobalt, and bauxite. The oil is found in the Nigeria, Libya, and Angola. So these countries are located in African continent. Next we have Australia. So here you can see the location of Australia in the world map. Australia is the largest producer of the bauxite in the world. It is leading producer of the gold, diamond, iron ore, tin and nickel. It is also rich in the copper, lead, zinc and manganese. Kalgoorlie and Coolgardie areas of the Western Australia have the largest deposit of gold. So as you can see this in this map, so these are the western region in desert area, so having large deposit of the gold. Next we have Antarctica. It is forecasted that significant size of the deposit of coal in the Trans-Antarctic Mountain and iron near the Prince Charles Mountain of the East Antarctica is uh, having such kind of resources. Iron ore, gold, silver and oil are also present in commercial quantities in Antarctica. Next, in this slide, we will discuss about distribution of minerals in India. So, iron deposit lie in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So, here you can see Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. Next, bauxite. So, bauxite lie in the Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Next we have mica. Mica lie in Jharkhand, Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Next we have manganese. So manganese deposit lie in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. Another that is limestone. So limestone deposit occur in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Karnataka, and some lesser quantities in other states. Another gold. So major concentration of gold in Kolar in Karnataka, somewhere here. Then we have Chittoor in Andhra Pradesh and Raichur in Karnataka again, and here we have East Singapore. Salt deposit or salt is extracted or produced from the Sambar Lake and others like coastal areas of India. So India is one of the major producer and exporter of the salt. In this we will discuss about use of minerals. So minerals are used in gem industry, uh, especially in jewelry, making ornament. Copper is another metal used in everything from coins to pipe. Silicon used in the computer industry to make chip, and it is obtained from the quartz. Aluminium obtained from its ore called bauxite is used in the automobile, aeroplane, bottling industry, buildings, and even kitchen cookware. So this is the use of minerals. Next, conservation of minerals. So we need to conserve minerals. So minerals are non-renewable resource, so it takes thousands of years for formation and concentration of minerals. The rate of formation is much smaller than the rate which the human consume the minerals, because the increasing population led to the rising in the demand of these kind of minerals. So it is necessary to reduce the wastage in the process of mining. Recycling of the metals is another way in which a mineral resource can be conserved. So these are the three R's we need to follow to conserve minerals. So reduce, reuse, reduce, and recycle. Next, power resources. So power or energy play a vital role in running industry, agriculture, transport, communication, and defense. So power resource may be broadly categorized as a conventional and non-conventional. resources. So conventional sources are those which have been common in use for a long time. So firewood and fossil fuel are the two main conventional energy sources. So firewood is used to cooking and heating in our country, mostly in the rural areas. So more than 50% of energy we obtain from this in villages. Remains of the plants and animals which were buried under the earth for millions of years got converted by the heat and pressure into fossil fuels. So fossil fuels such as the coal, petroleum and natural gas are the main source of energy. The coal, this is the most abundantly found fossil fuel. It is used as a domestic fuel in industries such as the iron and steel industry, steam engine and to generate electricity. Electricity from oil is called thermal power. So India produce more than 60% of energy through coal. So that is with the help of coal. So the coal which we are using today are formed in millions of years back. So when giant ferns and swamps got buried under the layers of earth, coal therefore referred as the buried sunshine. The leading coal producer of the world are China, USA, Germany, Russia, South Africa and France. The coal producing areas of the Indias are Raniganj, Jharia, Dhanbad and Bokaro in Jharkhand. Next we have petroleum. So petroleum is found between the layers of rocks and it is drilled from the oil fields located in offshore and coastal areas. This is sent to the refineries which processes the crude oils and produce the variety of products like diesel, petrol, kerosene, wax, plastic and lubricants. So petroleum and its derivatives are called black gold as they are very valuable. The chief producer petroleum producing countries are Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So these are Middle East countries. The other major producer are USA, Russia, Venezuela and Algeria. The leading producers in India are Diktoi in Assam, Mumbai High in Mumbai, deltas of KG Basin that is Krishna and Godavari. Next we have natural gas. So natural gas is found with the association of petroleum deposit and it is released when the crude oil is brought to surface. So it can be used as a domestic and industrial fuel. So Russia, Norway, UK and Netherlands are the major producer of natural gas. In India, Jaisalmer, Krishna Godavari Delta, Tripura and some areas of offshores in Mumbai have natural gas resources. Next we have hydel power. When the falling waters flow through the pipes inside the dam over turbines blades placed at the bottom of the dam, the moving blades then turns the generator to produce electricity and this is called hydroelectricity. The water stored in the reservoir, maybe from the glacier and rainwater, that is used to produce electricity. Later on, discharged water can be used for the irrigation and other purposes. 1/4 of the world's electricity is produced by hydropower. The leading producer of the hydropower in the world are Paraguay, Norway, Brazil and China. Some important hydropower stations in India are Bhakhra Nangal, Gandhi Sagar, Nagarjun Sagar and Damodar Valley Project, that is DVC. So this is the structure of dam as you can see. This slide represents the different dams for multi-purpose projects in India. You can find out the location as we have discussed earlier, like Bhakhra Dam is here, Nangal Dam is here, Nagarjun Sagar is here, DVC is here, and Hirakund is here. So all these are given in this slide. Now let's discuss about advantages and disadvantages of this conventional source of energy. Firewood. So in advantages, it is easy to access, provide energy to large number of people. Disadvantages, collection of firewood is not easy, it is time consuming, it is environmental polluting or pollute the environment, promote greenhouse gas effect when we burn firewood, led to deforestation because cutting of trees is harmful and led to deforestation. Next is coal. So advantages of coal: it is extensively available, efficient conversion to electricity. Disadvantages: it is polluting source of energy, bulky to transport from one location to another. Another is hydel power. It is non-polluting. In advantages we have, it is non-polluting, promote irrigation and fishing and other recreational activities, and it is cheaper than other if once it is installed. Disadvantage is we need to displace the local community if we want to construct a dam in particular area. It inundates low-lying area, especially in reservoir and where the water is released in the low-lying area, cause heavy damage to human life as well as property. It is expensive to set up because it requires a lot of capital. Another, oil. So advantages of oil: easier to transport from one location to another through tankers. It is basis for the petrochemical industry. Disadvantages: depletion of the oxygen due to the oil spillage and gas leakage in river and lakes. Pollutants released cause acid rain. Exploration of new fuel is not easy. Next, natural gas. So advantages: it is easier to transport through pipelines. It is cleaner source of energy than oil and coal. It is cheaper than oil. So let's discuss about non-conventional source of energy. The increasing use of the fossil fuel is leading to the shortage, and it is estimated that if the present rate of the consumption continue, the reserves of these fuels will get exhausted. So moreover, their use also cause environmental pollution. Therefore, there is need for using non-conventional source such as the solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, etc. So we need to rely more and more on non-conventional source of energy. First is solar energy. So solar energy tapped with the help of solar panels. Solar energy trapped from the sun can be used in solar cells to produce electricity. Many of these cells are joined together into a solar panel to generate power for the heating and lighting purpose. The technology of utilizing solar energy benefits a lot of tropical countries like these are the countries which lie in the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn region, because this region receive abundance of solar energy. Solar energy is also used in solar heaters, solar cookers, solar dryers, besides being used for the community lighting and traffic signal. Another, we have wind energy. So wind energy is useful and it is a non-conventional source of energy. So wind is an inexhaustible source of energy. Since a long time, windmills have been used for the grinding grains and lifting waters. In modern times, windmills, the high-speed winds rotates the windmill, which is connected to a generator to produce electricity. Wind farms having cluster of such windmills are located in the coastal region and in the mountain passes, where strong steadily winds blow. And wind farms are found in the Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, UK, USA, Spain are noted for their wind energy production. Next, we have nuclear energy. So nuclear power is obtained from the energy stored in the nuclei of atoms like uranium and thorium. So these are the radioactive elements which are used to produce this kind of energy. So these fuel undergoes nuclear fusion in nuclear reactors and emit power. The greatest producer of the nuclear power are USA and Europe. The nuclear power station in India are located in the Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu, Tarapur in Maharashtra, Rana Pratap Sagar in Rajasthan, Narora in Uttar Pradesh and Kega in Karnataka, as you can see in this map. So these are the various nuclear power plants which are located in India. Next is geothermal energy. Heat energy obtained from the earth is called geothermal energy. When the water comes in contact with the hot magma, it converts into steam, and this steam can be tapped through pipes or later on used for generate electricity and other purpose. So the temperature in the interior of the earth rises steadily as we go deeper. Sometimes this heat energy may surface itself in the form of hot spring, and this heat energy can be used to generate power. So in this diagram you can see, so these are the various rocks and the magma is here, and water comes in contact, converted into steam and later on, and we use to rotate the generator. Geothermal energy in the form of hot spring has been used for cooking, heating and bathing for several years. USA has the world's largest geothermal power plants, followed by the New Zealand and Iceland, Philippines and Central America. In India, geothermal plants are located in the Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh and Pugga Valley in J&K. So as you can see in this, so Pugga Valley is here and Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh. Next is tidal energy. So tidal energy generated from the tide is called tidal energy. So tidal energy can be harnessed by the building dams at a narrow opening of the sea. During high tides, the energy of the tides is used to turn the turbine installed in the dam to produce electricity. As you can see here, so these are the turbines which are used to generate electricity. So Russia, France and the Gulf of Kutch in India have huge tidal mills farm. Next is biogas. So this is biogas plant, as you can see. So kitchen waste and organic material can be used to generate biogas. Organic waste such as the dead plants and animal material, animal dung and kitchen waste can be converted into a gaseous fuel called biogas. The organic waste is decomposed by the bacteria in biogas digesters to emit the biogas, which is essentially a mixture of the methane and carbon dioxide. So biogas is an excellent fuel for cooking, lighting and produce huge amount of the organic manure, which later on can be used for agriculture purpose. Now let's discuss about advantages and disadvantages of these kind of resources. First we have wind energy. So advantages of wind energy is it is a non-polluting, low cost production of the electricity once they are set up. So it is safe and clean. So it is in disadvantages here we have it is noise pollution, noise pollution created due to windmills. Windmills costly to set up. It requires huge capital. Disturbed radio and TV reception. It is harmful for birds because rotating fans kills a lot of birds when they go through the windmills farm or nearby windmill. Another we have solar energy. Advantages of solar energy are it is inexhaustible source of energy. It is non-polluting. Disadvantage it is very expensive. Diffuse source so gets wasted. Another tidal energy. So advantages of tidal energies are it is non-polluting and inexhaustible source of energy. Disadvantages destroy wildlife habitat, difficult to harness. So everywhere you cannot install uh, machinery to generate this kind of energy. Next is nuclear energies. So in advantages we have here emits large amount of the energy. Disadvantages of nuclear energy are generate radioactive waste which is dangerous and it is very expensive. Then we have biogas. So biogas advantages of biogas are it is low cost, easy to operate and make use of the bio waste in efficient way. It causes in disadvantages it causes greenhouse effect. Then we have geothermal energy. So advantages of geothermal energy are it is a clean and eco-friendly source of energy and always available. Disadvantages located far away from the cities and so costly to transport the electricity from that region. So this was about this chapter. Thank you and have a good